So for this assessment, we will be creating another scene, but with our scene this time, we're going to have some animation going on in it. So you'll find this sheet in October 5th through the 9th, so this week. So some of the things that you need to be looking for in building this, the requirements are that you have a simple drawn background using at least 3 shapes. All code other than the sprite and variable declarations are inside the draw loop. A minimum of 4 sprites. Sprites move in at least 3 different ways, so you could move them to the right, to the left, up, down. You could rotate them, you could change their scale, but it needs to be a mix of 3 of those. And at least 2 variables are created and their values updated in the draw loop. So you need to think about a short description of your scene and include what sorts of animations it will be. So I'm going to do, well, I'm going to start out by going and looking at their example. It's telling a joke. That's kind of funny. I like that. So what I want you to do before we start doing this is, we're doing that stage 3 plan, but you might need to go into the animation tab and take a look and see what's available for you in here. So I think what I'm going to do is like an outside scene. So I'm going to say like an outside scene with grass and sky, a cloud, if I could spell here, a cloud and the sun. Those are going to be my shapes. An airplane will fly from left to right across the screen. A bird will fly. I think I'll do a bird flying from right to left across the screen. I can find a bird in there that looks right. I've edited them and I'll show you that too. So I've got all that. I need a couple more sprites in here. Well, let's take a peek. So if I have a bird going, so this bird that I can fly around, oh, there's a bee. I could have a bee flying down to a flower, so I could do that. So let's do a bee flying down to a flower that rotates left and right. So one that jiggles a little bit left and right, kind of like those aliens did in that scene. All right, so that is 4 sprites. Sprites are moving 3 different ways. So I have left to right, right to left, down, and then flower that's rotating. I could also use scale, doesn't really matter. Let's see. Now let's prepare here. I'm gonna do some shapes. Just plan my scene here. I'm not gonna do too big of a grass this time. And some sky. A cloud in the sky. I could even make, if I take a couple of these together and go like this, and then get rid of the outline. So, like this. Makes it look more like a smooshy cloud in the sky. And then I'll do a little sun up here. It's not a complicated background. Pretty simple stuff. No big deal. I didn't even need to do all that with the cloud. I could have just done one simple thing and it would have been fine. So for my sprites, I'm going to do, let's see, I'm going to use a picture here. I'm just going to search flower, and I just want it to be a clip art picture. I don't know what I'm going to find for a flower, but this, yeah, I'll do that one. We'll do that, select it, let it plop in. If I can get it to not be silly willy, here we go. There we go. There's my flower. And I need a bee. Ooh, that's a very cute bee. He's gonna come down to the flower, so I'll put him there. Maybe I'll move this like this. Even my scene out a little bit here. Make him a little bit more realistic in size too. And then I said I was going to have an airplane. I like that one better. This is gonna be big. Airplane. And a bird. See if I look flying. If it, oops, not gliding, flying. There, that actually, I knew what I meant. There we go. So that has a background, which is kind of stinky, but whatever. You still get the idea of what I was trying to get there. All right, so that's like my basic setup. Perfect. At least I know I have an idea of what I should be seeing when you do it. Sprites. So I'm going to have name one airplane, and it will be image of an airplane. I'm going to call the bee just bee. Image of a bee. Flower. I don't know if I'm going to find one. I'm going to name it flower. Image of a flower. I'm going to get these to match up. It's kind of driving me nuts. And then I also needed, so I had the bee, the airplane, the flower, and the bird. And that's going to be image of a bird flying. And then animation. So I'm going to grab these sprites right here and just copy them in and paste. So the airplane, I said I was going to move the airplane from left to right across the screen. So my property is going to be X. I'm just going to say airplane.x, and I'm going to use counter pattern. So I'm going to say airplane.x equals airplane.x plus, I'm probably going to do 5. I can change that. I don't really care if that's accurate or not. The B, I said I was going to do the B.y. The flower is going to be the rotation, and the bird is going to be also moving on the X. The B, I was going to do B.y equals B.y plus, I'm going to do 2, make them nice and slow, and flower dot rotation equals, and I'm doing random here, so random number, and I want it to rotate left and right a little bit, so I'm gonna pick a couple values and mess with them. I'm gonna try 20 and -20. I don't know if that's gonna work. We'll see. I'll have to mess with it. This I need to make smaller because it's smooshing down into here. There we go. And then my bird, I'm just going to say bird.x equals bird.x minus whatever number I choose because it's moving left instead of right. All right, so that covers just meeting the expectations. So I do need to use some variables. I didn't make you plan that out in here, but I'll show you where you're going to plan those. So I'm going to hop in here, and if you go to 4, this is where you're going to create your scene. So you're going to start out with your code that you're going to do to draw the background, and I'm going to do light blue. And then to draw any of the shapes for your background, after you've drawn your backgrounds, you're going to go to 5, and 5 is where you're going to add your sprites. And you need to remember to put your sprites at the top of your screen. And each sprite needs a declaration and an animation set. So if I was doing my airplane, let's find one that looks like, these are silly airplanes, but I'm using it anyway. Airplane, and I'm starting it on the way left side of the screen at 0, and the Y, I'm going to do like 50. Airplane, pick that animation, I'm going to run it. Oh, kind of helps put the draw sprite in there, and run it, and it's kind of big, so I'm going to probably have to go in and scale it down a little bit and say airplane dot 0.75, make the plane just a little bit smaller. All right, and then I'll just keep adding my sprites. Once I'm done with that, then I'm going to go to adding my text on the screen. If you have any text on your project, it should show up. I didn't put that as a requirement. Movement on your screen is a requirement though, so please remember that your code needs to then go into the draw loop so that when you create that movement, so for example, if I do get that airplane moving, I will see that movement. And then you can review and make sure everything is on there that you intended to be on there, that is meeting all of those requirements.